Yep.
La cabine anglaise, vous avez votre micro allumé, c'est normal? Normal. Vous- Ah, ok, ok. Ah, très bien, très bien. C'est juste pour être sûr. Oui, 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 c'est moi qui pose la question, c'est pas Iman. Ouais, ouais, d'accord. Et les Français, c'est pareil? Ok, d'accord. Donc, je vais peut-être libérer ce canal alors, parce qu'on m'entend sur le streaming. Ok. Et pareil pour vous d'ailleurs. Donc attention aux informations. Peut-être que vous pouvez compter. Peut-être que vous pouvez compter. Enfin, n'oubliez pas que tout le monde vous entend hein, sur le stream. Hein. Oui, vous pouvez vous arrêter là. C'est bon. Juste pour vous dire qu'ils viennent d'ouvrir les clims, ça va faire beaucoup de bruit, vous devriez fermer vos portes au bout d'un moment, parce que la clim fonctionne. Et normalement, vos ventilos aussi.
Hello? Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome here live and in person in Samarkand, Uzbekistan for the 14th UNESCO Youth Forum.
Are you excited, V? Is our audience excited? It's so inspiring to see this room filled with so many young change makers, all gathered to collaborate with UNESCO and help shape a sustainable and inclusive future for our planet. If anyone would like to access live interpretation for today's opening ceremony, you can see the numbers for each channel on the screen that is just behind us.
Now, before we dive in, Antonio, I think it's really important for us to introduce ourselves. My name is Vika Tivu. I'm a girls' education activist and young leader for the SDGs in the Youth Office at the United Nations. I'm an Oxford and Harvard graduate and a current PhD student in education and leadership. And sometimes you might catch me on YouTube or TikTok talking about all things girls' education and youth advocacy. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe and currently live in England. What about you, Antonio?
Well, I'm Antonio. I'm from Mexico, and I'm a former negotiator for Mexico at COP. I'm also part of the steering committee of the Youth UNESCO Climate Action Network, UCAN, and I'm also a former Youth Forum participant from the 13th UNESCO Youth Forum.
Amazing. Can we get a round of applause for Antonio? And together today, we will be your hosts for the official opening ceremony. We'll be guiding you throughout the Youth Forum as you guys work together to shape the global youth recommendations for UNESCO.
And don't forget all the sessions over the coming days where we will have the opportunity to come together, connect, and collaborate.
The theme of our opening ceremony this year says it all. We are the generation of action. Around the world, young people are not waiting for change. We are waiting for nothing. We're not waiting for permission to take action. We're already leading the way and shaping the future that we believe is possible.
So, over the coming days, we will hear from young climate leaders, each bringing their unique energy, stories, and creativity to this, our shared mission for climate action.
Now, to get us started on this journey, we are so honored to officially open the ceremony with remarks from Lydia Brito, Assistant Director General for Social and Human Sciences ad interim. Please help me in welcoming Lydia Brito to the stage.
Good morning. How are we feeling? Are we good? Yes. Are we good? Good. Your Excellency, Mr. Edmond Najimov, also Your Excellency, Mr. Alisher Sandulayev, distinguished young leaders, distinguished guests, welcome to the 40th UNESCO Youth Forum in Samarkand, a symbol of shared humanity. Let me begin with the powerful words of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. I salute young people around the world for standing up, speaking out, and working for a real change. We need you. Indeed, the future is a joint responsibility, shaped by a common purpose, with youth leading the way with conviction towards the world we aspire to create. This forum explores our common future under the theme Climate Action and Social Impacts, particularly for young people. Over the next days, you will help carve responses to this defining challenge of our time, the accelerating climate crisis and its far-reaching social consequences. Our oceans are warming twice as fast as 20 years ago. In 2024 alone, climate-related disasters displaced over 800,000 people, the highest number record so far. Climate change threatens 1 in 6 cultural heritage sites and intensifies water scarcity. Beyond these tangible losses, it erodes identity, knowledge, community resilience, and cultural expression. Young people are among those affected by these changes, among with other groups that may face weighted challenges, such as women, girls, and children in general. Impacts for youth include displacement, loss of livelihoods, and increased health risks. In 2024, over 240 million students experienced school disruption due to extreme climate events. Climate change also drives youth anxiety, grief, and uncertainty, influence how youth see their future. The message is clear. Bold collective action is urgent, with young people at its center. In 2023, your peers participate in the 30th Forum of UNESCO Youth Forum, focusing on climate change and the social impact. Since then, we supported them with platforms and advocacy, including at COP28. Their work shaped our actions for the next 2 years. Member states advanced youth engagement with their youth delegates and implemented recommendations through national programs. Youth projects were completed and supported by UNESCO and its partners. This forum is an opportunity to amplify your work. You have draft recommendations and a call to action. Now it's your moment to finalize a document that is actionable and impactful. As you engage in discussions, it is crucial that these exchanges remain as concrete as possible, focusing on tangible policy actions and solutions that can translate into real-world impact. Moving from dialogue to co-action is essential to ensure that your contributions lead to measurable changes. Young people are at the heart of UNESCO's work, particularly within the social and human science sector, which coordinates youth as a priority group for UNESCO and supports collaboration on youth initiatives throughout the UN system. This work ensures that young people's perspectives are meaningfully integrated in all UNESCO policy and program development. Through its youth program, the social and human science sector drives concrete actions to empower young leaders and foster transformative change. This includes the Global Youth Grant Scheme, which provides young leaders with funding and capacity building to implement transformative community projects. The Youth as Researchers Initiative, through which UNESCO supports and trains young researchers to conduct grassroots social research, and of course, UNESCO Youth Climate Action Network that is connecting 10 million young people around the world. Across UNESCO, other sectors are deeply committed to working closely with young people to shape inclusive and innovative solutions. With the Youth Climate Action and Disaster Risk Reduction Hackathon, young innovators are designing solutions to strengthen climate resilience and disaster preparedness. Our Empowering Youth for the Green Transition program is equipping students with skills for green and circular economy. Meanwhile, the Navigating Climate Information with Media and Information Literacy project helps youth critically evaluate climate information and combat misinformation. And with young people as custodians of living heritage, UNESCO showcases community knowledge and traditions that foster sustainability for future generations. These are just a few examples. I could talk about the Man and Biosphere Youth Network that works with our biosphere reserves around the world. I could talk about also our Youth Water Network and also the Water Parliament, where young people are really pushing an agenda to protect water. These four, therefore, embodies UNESCO's vision. Youth are our partners for meaningful change. You are the generation of action, the dreamers, the doers, the defenders, and the drivers. Asking the right questions, creating new paths, and redefining what is possible, and I would say what is also impossible. It's in your hands. I thank our hosts, the government of Uzbekistan, for welcoming us to Samarkand and making this forum possible, and the governments of Morocco and New Zealand for their support. Above all, I extend my deepest gratitude to every participant of the Youth Forum. Your energy, unwavering commitment, and visionary thinking are the driving force beyond progress and transformation. I look forward to seeing your ideas come alive and driving your vision forward. I thank you and welcome again to this forum.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Now I'd like to welcome Elmurod Najimov, Deputy Head, Department of Creative Economy and Tourism, and the first Deputy Chairperson, Art and Culture Development Foundation, under the administration of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, as well as the Deputy Secretary General, National Commission of the Republic of Uzbekistan for UNESCO. Welcome, Elmurod.
Aziz yoshlar, hurmatli mehmonlar, sizni UNESCOning 14-yoshlar forumida ko'rib turganimizdan samimiy olqishlashimizdan mamnunmiz. Biz turgan zaminda ming yillar davomida innovatsiyalar, ijodkorlik va aql bovar qilmas maqsadlar ro'yobga chiqib, gullab yashnagan qadimiy Samarqand shahri bizning vazifamiz davrimizning hal qiluvchi muammosi iqlim o'zgarishiga qarshi turishga hissa qo'shishdir. UNESCO mazkur anjumanni e'lon qilar ekan. UNESCO mazkur anjumanni e'lon qilar ekan. Baralla shunday degan edi. Yoshlar bugungi kunni ham, kelajakni ham harakatlantiruvchi kuchdir. Iqlim o'zgarishiga qarshi kurashish kechiktirib bo'lmas masaladir. Bu bayonot bilan ular mutlaqo haqlar. Aholisining 60% yoshlardan iborat O'zbekistonimizning mag'rur, vatanparvar insoni sifatida shuni ta'kidlashim mumkinki, yurtimizning madaniy yangilanishlari va iqtisodiy o'zgarishlariga Prezidentimiz Shavkat Mirziyoyev boshchiligida aynan yosh kadrlar rahbarlik qilib kelmoqda va buni siz o'z ko'zingiz bilan ko'rib turmoqdasiz. Demak, butun jahon jamiyatida ham yoshlar tasarrufiga vakolat va o'z so'zlarini dadil ayta oladigan huquq kerak. Sizlar bunga to'liq munosibsiz va ushbu dargoh Samarqandda bularning barchasi ixtiyoringizda mujassam. Iqlim o'zgarishining halokatli tahdidi bu bir alohida tahdid emas, balki butun dunyoda, jumladan O'zbekistonda ham sezilayotgan aniq bir voqelikdir. Bir paytlar dunyodagi eng yirik ichki ko'l hisoblangan Orol dengizi maydonining sezilarli darajada qisqarishi atrof muhitga bepisand munosabat oqibatlarining yaqqol dalilidir. Bir bu esa jamoalarning barbod bo'lishiga, tirikchilik manbalarini izdan chiqarib, ekologik inqirozning vujudga kelishiga olib keldi. Ammo umid bor. Joriy yilning boshida prezidentimiz tashabbuslari bilan O'zbekiston madaniyat va san'atni rivojlantirish jamg'armasi tomonidan ilk bora Orol madaniyat sammiti tashkil etildi. O'zbekiston va butun dunyo yoshlarini birlashtirilgan Orol maktabi ta'lim dasturi ishga tushirildi. Orol maktabi yoshlarga barqaror rivojlanishning yangi prototipini ishlab chiqish va joriy etish bo'yicha salohiyatlarini kengaytirish orqali mahalliy muammolarga yechimlar topib, umumjahon sa'y-harakatlar uchun yangi modelni taklif etadi. O'zbekiston iqlim o'zgarishi chaqiriqlariga kurasha oladigan hamisha ushbu yo'nalishda cheklanib qolmaydi. Misol o'laroq 2025-yil yurtimizda atrof muhitni asrash va yashil iqtisodiyot yili deb e'lon qilindi. Quyosh va shamol elektr stansiyalariga esa qariyb 6 milliard dollarlik sarmoya kiritildi. Bu ko'rsatkich 2030-yilga kelib 20 milliard dollarni tashkil etishi rejalashtirilgan. Barqaror rivojlanish, turizm, madaniyat va san'at sohalari bilan albatta bu chambarchas bog'liq hisoblanadi. UNESCOning madaniy meros obyektlari ro'yxatiga kiritilgan yana bir shahar Buxoroning renovatsiya loyihalarida quyosh energiyasi, an'anaviy hunarmandchilik, mahalliy materiallar va hunarmandlardan to'liq foydalanilmoqda. O'zbekistondagi ushbu faoliyatlar UNESCOning iqlim o'zgarishi masalalarini ta'lim, madaniyat va xalqaro hamkorlik markaziga aylantirish bo'yicha butunjahon sa'y-harakatlarining bir qismigina xolos. Inson va biosfera dasturidan tortib ta'lim, ekologiyaga oid fanlar bilan boyitish bo'yicha hamkorlik hamda butunjahon merosi va barqaror turizm dasturigacha UNESCO dunyoning har bir burchagida iqlim savodxonligi va barqaror turmush manbalarini rivojlantirishni targ'ib etmoqda. Ammo bu yutuqlar sizlarni qanchalar mahliyo etmasin, ularning miqdori bilan kifoyalanib qolmasligingiz darkor. Maqsadlaringizni baland qo'ying. UNESCOga chaqiriq tashlang. Ularni ko'ndira olishingiz mumkin. Ha, ba'zan biroz uyaltirish shart bo'lsa ham. Sizlar istiqboldagi yetakchilar emas, balki sizlar bugungi kunning liderlarisiz. Aynan siz kabi jo'mart yoshlar iqlim o'zgarishi muammosi bo'yicha munozaralarga yetakchilik qilmoqdalar. Dalillarni shakllantirib, dunyoni ularni tinglashga majbur etmoqdalar. Aynan siz kabi navqiron yoshlar xalqaro muzokaralarda ishtirok etadilar. Bayonotlar ishlab chiqadilar va hatto sog'lom atrof muhitga bo'lgan huquqlarni himoya qilish uchun qonuniy choralar ko'ryaptilar. Va aynan sizdan shu yerda, Samarqandda, mana shu anjumanda bizni yana ilhomlantirishlaringizni so'rab qolamiz. Ushbu jiddiy topshiriqni nazarda tutgan holda mazkur ajoyib shaharda o'z vaqtingizni maroqli o'tkazasiz degan umiddamiz. Umid qilamanki, kecha oqshom bo'lib o'tgan ajoyib konsert va undagi mujdalardan kuch oldingiz degan deb umid qilaman. Sizlar Samarqand tarixi va uning odamlaridan albatta kuch olasizlar. Siz o'z ijodkorligingiz, tasavvurlaringiz va so'nmas ishtiyoqingiz bilan baland cho'qqilarni zabt etasizlar. E'tiboringiz uchun rahmat. Assalomu alaykum.
Thank you so much, Elmurod. Finally, I'd like to welcome Alisher Sadeliev, Director of the Youth Affairs Agency of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Welcome, Alisher.
Assalamu alaikum, my sisters and brothers. Welcome to Samarkand. I hope you enjoyed the first day in Samarkand, and today you're going to have a huge stage to speak out and show the world what you're capable of. I remember myself a couple of years ago in your shoes. I was speaking on the stages, talking to the government, asking for more all the time. And these years haven't gone in vain. I've then later on stepped into the position of the youngest senator of Uzbekistan. Being as a part of the Senate gives you a lot of power. You can impact on people's life, not only as a participant, but also a real change maker in the whole process. Later on, with the initiative of the president of Uzbekistan, I became the youngest minister of youth in Uzbekistan. So what does it talk about? It means everything you start with a clear purpose. Doesn't matter how huge the impact is. If you start it, it will give its results at any point. At some point you understand that your life is very short. Every single day we're losing a very important momentum. You being here in Samarkand opens up a huge perspective that ancients of this city who brought civilization to the world dreamed of huge innovations, changing the world. You will see it yourself. These people, centuries ago, changed the world's education system. They brought advanced medicine to the world. They brought civilization in culture to the world. And you today are the ones who are in Samarkand and observing this all yourself. I'm 100% sure today's event will discover new leaders, new ideas UNESCO will be working on with Uzbekistan government. I'm very proud today to represent our country, which is 60% of young people. Every second person you see outside is young. This has two meanings. One, it's a huge opportunity for the country. By 2050, Uzbekistan will have a very huge demographic dividend. Young person doesn't mean a disadvantage. Young person means no disadvantage, but young person means an advantage for any country, which Uzbekistan has come to understand. We understand that young people require a lot, but they do not require everything for themselves. They require things for people, for the community around them. So I myself is a brilliant example here. So I'm very proud today to represent Uzbekistan's youth, which every single day works on new progress, new ideas, new decrees, new laws for the country to be adopted. So UNESCO has given me also an important stage last year when I was there and I was presenting Uzbekistan's youth on a huge platform. Today, I'm very proud to host this event here in Uzbekistan with our partners and very happy to be part of this event. I hope you will present brilliant ideas, small or huge, but that is very important for Uzbekistan to listen to you with UNESCO and understand what you have in mind. I'm very happy to be part of this huge event and will welcome all of your ideas and initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our distinguished host for welcoming us all to Samarkand.
Now I'd like to talk about what makes this generation so unique. The spirit that defines us, the generation of action. Climate action needs many kinds of change makers, and each one of us brings something that's so different, our own strengths, our own perspectives, and our own energy.
That's right, Vi. We are the dreamers, we are the doers, we are the drivers and the defenders of climate action.
That sounds wonderful, Antonio, but should we take a moment to explain what that means?
Yeah, let's take it back a little bit. So when we talk about the dreamers, we are talking about the visionaries, those among us that imagine what's possible and inspire others with their creativity and courage. The dreamers remind us what we are fighting for.
And now the doers, those are the implementers. They're the people who roll up their sleeves. They experiment and they lead projects. They activate campaigns and build enterprises that turn ideas into real action.
And there are the drivers. They are the influencers, the mobilizers, the policy shapers. They move systems, generate resources, and take change to scale.
And finally, we have our defenders. These are the people that protect people and the planet. They center healing, conclusions, inclusion, and care, and ensure that absolutely no one is left behind.
Each of us, no matter our role, plays an essential part. Alone, we can spark change, but together we form an entire ecosystem of action.
And that ecosystem is very much alive and thriving across every region, every culture, and every community that is represented in here today.
So let's take a moment to meet some of the amazing young change makers who embody this spirit from every corner of the world. You, the participants of UNESCO's 14th Youth Forum from around the globe, the heartbeat of the generation of action.
For over 25 years, the UNESCO Youth Forum has brought together young change makers from every corner of the world. Here, youth meet to share ideas, inspire one another, and craft solutions that reach beyond the forum itself, shaping the policies of UNESCO, its member states, and beyond. This year, for the 14th edition of the forum, the focus is on one of the greatest challenges of our time: climate action and social impacts, particularly for young people. Climate disruption is reshaping lives and communities, but youth are not only on the front lines of these impacts, they are rising to the challenge. Across the globe, young people are leading the response, creating solutions and driving action. They are showing the world that they have the power to shape what comes next, creating more resilient societies for all. 75% of young people worldwide say they have the skills needed to tackle climate disruption in their communities. 72% of youth aged 18 to 35 are already taking action in their countries. This is not just a commitment, it is a momentum for change, for UNESCO, for governments, and for young people worldwide. Today, we welcome you, nearly 150 changemakers from close to 140 countries from all regions of the world, in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, at the eve of the UNESCO General Conference. You are the dreamers, you are the doers, the defenders, and the drivers. Your recommendations, call to action, and projects to be presented to UNESCO member states are here to guide the UNESCO family. UNESCO stands united with you, amplifying your calls and ideas for climate action and ensuring that they echo around the world. Together, you are driving the change we need.
Wow, that was so powerful. There are so many incredible change makers all over the world. And I think you'd all agree that video really captures not just everyone here today, but the heartbeat of our generation.
Okay, so let's find out what kind of change makers we have in the room today, Bea.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. So as you sit there where you are right now, I want you to take a moment to just think. Are you a dreamer? Are you someone who imagines new worlds? Or are you a doer, someone who makes those worlds happen? Or are you a defender, someone who protects and includes? Or maybe you are a driver, someone who mobilizes and gathers everyone for action and impact.
Okay, it's time to hear their energy, so I want to hear you loud and proud. I reckon we got a lot of dreamers in the house, so give us a cheer if you are a dreamer. Woo! Yes! Raise your hands, dreamers.
I'm not super sure. I think we might have some doers in the room. I see you out there, the builders and the movers. So if you are a doer, give me a little cheer. Okay.
Yes. How about the defenders, the protectors of people and planet? If you are a defender, let's hear you. Ooh, quite a lot.
Okay. But last and not least, we have the drivers. If you think that you are a driver, a doer, the change maker, please let me hear you.
Okay, very nice to hear all the different types united here today. So each one of us is here to inspire action with UNESCO. So let's hear you all the drivers, all the doers, and all the dreamers that are here to make action.
Now, Antonio, it's only fair. We now know what they are. I want to know, what kind of change maker do you think you are?
Oh, that's such a hard question, V. I think I might be a doer. I like getting things done and bringing ideas to life. I also like policy. But what about you, V?
Well, I think that I'm definitely more of a dreamer. You know, I like to really think about what solutions we can solve, ideate, plan everything out. But I also think I could be a doer because sometimes I'm an action maker. I want to be where it's all happening. I don't know, it's a mix.
It's a little bit of everything, but that totally fits you, both of those. But I guess the truth is, none of us are just one thing. We are a mix of all these different types.
Exactly, Antonio, and that's what makes everyone in this room so special. We carry a little bit of each thing. Whether you're a dreamer, doer, defender, driver, together, that's what makes youth action absolutely unstoppable. And it's exactly what the generation of action is like.
And together, we are about to make the 14th UNESCO Youth Forum unforgettable.
Woo!
Let's bring the energy, guys. So let's begin our celebration of the first group in this ecosystem of action, the dreamers. So they are the visionaries. They imagine what's possible. They remind us of the futures we're fighting for, using creativity, culture, and courage to spark change. Dreamers paint a big and bold picture. They use art and storytelling, innovation and hope to inspire us to believe, but most importantly, to act.
Now, to open this incredible segment, I am so thrilled to welcome a dreamer to the stage. This is someone who has been inspiring climate action around the world with her voice. She's a climate advocate and eco-influencer all the way from Spain, and she's here to share how storytelling can help move people from awareness to action. So please join us in welcoming our first youth climate leader, Carlotta Bruna, as she explores the question, how do you inspire others to take action? Tell us, Carlotta, how do you?
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be here at the UNESCO Youth Forum, surrounded by young people full of ideas, energy, and commitment to changing the world. And honestly, this is what gives me hope. My name is Carlota Bruna. I'm an environmental and animal rights activist, author, and communicator. And I travel across the world documenting endangered species and fragile ecosystems while raising awareness about the urgent need to eat more sustainably. I studied food and nutrition, which allowed me to understand how deeply food connects our health, the planet's health, and the lives of animals. Food is something that unites us all, and it's not just personal. Food is political. And in my work, I've witnessed how industrial meat and dairy production are one of the main causes of deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, pesticide use, and biodiversity loss. But the issue goes far beyond our food system. Rarely do people realize the hidden environmental and social costs of everyday products we buy. Rather, we are standing in front of a supermarket shelf, a clothing store, or a tech shop. What often seems cheap and affordable for our pockets comes with a much higher cost for the planet and for communities. And that is simply not fair. And here's why UNESCO's mission inspires me deeply, because they remind me that not only our natural heritage is just as important as our cultural heritage. So we have to protect our oceans, our forests, our soils and ecosystems. Because if we destroy them, we are erasing the most precious legacy of all, the foundation of all life. And this is exactly what I try to do on my social media work. I see my digital platforms as a bridge between science and emotion and between information and action. Because facts alone don't move people, stories do. And when I share a video of a rescued chimpanzee or the story of the last 2 northern white rhinos on Earth, my goal is not for people to lose hope, is to forge a connection, to remind people that protecting nature is not only about saving species, it's about saving the beauty, the balance, and the dignity of life itself. And for me, communication must be rooted in hope and love and not fear, because I dream of a world where harmony with nature and animals is not just the exception, is the norm. And I know you too. And whenever I feel overwhelmed about the magnitude of the environmental crisis, I think of the words of one of my greatest inspirations of all time, Dr. Jane Goodall, who had a very close relationship with UNESCO. And she said, every individual matters, every individual has a role to play, and every individual makes a difference. And that philosophy has guided everything I do. And I believe anyone can inspire action by leading with emotion, showing real solutions, and making sustainability part of everyday life. Because when people see that change is possible and personal, they act. And the truth is, this new generation is already doing it, planting trees, creating circular fashion, developing sustainable food practices, and educating their communities. And let me tell you something, hope is contagious. When we show people that their actions matter, they start believing that a better world is possible. And that belief, it's what fuels everything. And now I would like you to take a moment to close our eyes and just for acknowledging our beautiful planet. Think about your favorite place in nature. Maybe it's a forest, the ocean, a river. And now think all the beautiful animals we're lucky to share our planet with. And now let's picture how our actions can help preserve that beauty. Start with something simple like what you had for breakfast this morning, and trace it back to the soil, the water, and the hands that made it possible. Because awareness like this is where truly action begins. So as you breathe, take a second to thank yourself for this pause. And just like that, we are not just imagining a better world, we are shaping it right here, right now. Because change begins with our everyday acts that together rewrite the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carlota, for that powerful reminder that stories move hearts and hearts move action. Our next segment celebrates that spirit in full color, because sometimes the most powerful messages aren't delivered through speeches or reports, but through creativity and art. To continue celebrating the dreamers, we are about to experience something truly special, a spoken word performance by one of our fellow Youth Forum participants. So please open your hearts and let's welcome to the stage Paul Yisa, a Youth Forum participant from Nigeria who will share his spoken word poetry, The River Remembers. Please welcome to the stage, Paul.
We were ferried across the river by a man already deep in his age. Baba Saleh, whose arms still moved with the quiet sage strength of people who've carried everything without needing to prove anything. He paddled us from Gakban to Chewuya, the boat breathing softly under our feet. And I, small, buzzing with thoughts I didn't know how to hold, sat in the hollowed belly of the boat, trying not to rock it, trying not to listen to the voice that whispered, just rock it just once. The river shimmered like oil in the sun, and Baba said nothing, as if words would disturb something older than sound. On both banks, the world held its breath. Forest on one side, desert on the other, two lungs of a single body. I remember skimming my hand across the water, ripples blooming under my touch like curious echoes, until his voice broke the silence. Remove your hand. Crocodiles and worse things about, things that find toddlers tasty. I laughed, heart pounding. Just as we skirted the riverbank, I leaped into the water and ran uphill to the smell of firewood and home, searching for my mother to tell her everything, the things I saw and the ones I imagined. But my hometown floods every year. The water comes and takes what it will. Paddies, homes, and echoes of laughter, the river remembers. We moved my grandparents to the city, and my grandfather, who once lived by the river, began to fade far from it. He lived to 113, but I still carry the ache of the lake ride I never gave him. When the sky falls down, when the clouds burn and the trumpets sound, when the moon goes red and the oceans choke, and the fish lie belly up on the shore that once fed 1,000 mornings, what will we do? Will we smile and say it wasn't our doing? Will we run? Will we hide? Will we leave? Or will we die? Listen, the earth is not a thing we own. It is a charge we carry. We, every single one of us seated here, we are custodians, not masters. We owe a duty to speak for rivers, to translate the language of storms, to defend what was never ours to waste. I carry the river like a love. I carry the river like a promise. I carry it like work. When the clouds fall, let our children say we chose to build. Let them say we loved well. Get ready, citizens of Earth. The vision is getting clearer by the day. Thank you.
Wow, that was so powerful. Thank you so much, Paul. One more round of applause for Paul, please. Thank you for reminding us that our action is intergenerational and that our visions don't just live in our minds, they also live in our words. Thank you, Paul.
I really believe that each idea that every person has in this room contributes to something bigger, a collective vision for the future.
And now comes another exciting part. Let's meet some change makers that turn those dreams into action. We're going to be welcoming to the next stage the group of our ecosystem of change makers who are the doers.
But who are the doers? The doers are the builders and implementers. They roll up their sleeves, test ideas, and bring projects to life, transforming vision into real impact. They remind us that change doesn't just happen because we wish for it. It happens because we work for it.
And that is the perfect setup for me to introduce our next Spotlight talk. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Gulnaz Abutova from Uzbekistan. She's going to share her story all about how we go from impacted to impacting. These are solutions for water scarcity. Welcome, Gulnaz.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to welcome you in Samarkand, and I'm very proud to represent my own country and share our experience with you today. And before begin, I would like to start with a quick experiment. Raise your hand if you had tea or coffee this morning. Okay, almost everyone, thank you. To make this tea or coffee, you just need to fill the kettle with water and boil it, or maybe just order it. But imagine if there is no water to boil, or it looked like this. According to UNICEF data, 1 in 4 people worldwide lack access to safe drinking water. In Uzbekistan, it's 1 in 5. It's about 7 million people. And this water was brought from Moynak, a remote village of Karakalpakstan. It doesn't only taste bad, it can make you sick. And this is clean, safe drinking water like you have in front of you in your bottles. And my mission becomes simple: to make this available to those who still have to drink this. I'm from Karakalpakstan, a region facing one of the worst environmental disasters in Central Asia. And you've probably heard about Aral Sea, once world's biggest lake. But over the decades, it shrunk, and only 8% of it remains. The soil turned salty, the water polluted, the infrastructure disappeared. And there is no central water supply, and people still have to rely on the device called busbar. It's like a hand pump which puts the water from the underground. But my story today isn't about loss, it's about transformation. In April last year, I gathered with a group of people trying to find a solution how we can support people which are living near the Aral Sea to get them access to clean water. After talking to the local foundation, we found out that the best solution will to build a water treatment station which can purify 250 to 5 liters per hour. The solution was found, but the next challenge was fundraising, foundation. We started from our close circle, like friends, relatives, colleagues, but interestingly that some of them had donated to water projects abroad, not realizing that the same problem is here at their home. So after 2 months, one water station cost $10,000. After 2 months, we flew to Kuralpa village where 169 people lived to open our very first water treatment station. The numbers were small, but it was a huge victory for us. In 1.5 years, the Clean Water Project has built 10 water treatment stations, which give access to 9,000 people nowadays. And also, but this is not just numbers. These are children who no longer have to be sick from the water they drink. These are families who have no longer to walk 5 kilometers to get their daily water. And there are no grandmothers who have to boil the water for hours before they prepare their soap. And also, the organization Art, Culture and Development Foundation in Uzbekistan from this year have provided Aral Culture Summit, which is going to be held every 18 months. It's a gathering dedicated to the social and environmental transformation of Aral's region through art, culture, development, design, and science. And it all began with one idea and strong willingness to act. Today, I'm still holding these 2 glasses. One, clean and safe, and other dirty and dangerous. Clean water is not about filters, only about filters and infrastructure. It's about dignity, it's about health, and it's about life itself. So I want to leave you with this question, which I gave myself before start my project. What can I do with what I have? From where I am to change someone's reality. because change doesn't come from above, it begins within us. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Gulnaz for that reminder that real change begins when we take the first bold step. So now we're turning the spotlight over to you guys, the young change makers who are leading climate action. We're going to hear from a few inspiring youth participants who'll share their own climate-related projects and actions. These are real stories of youth leadership, people who are making real change in the world. Now, I'm going to pass it over to my co-host. Antonio, where are you?
I'm here, V. So let's meet those change makers, and I'm here among the audience, ready to hear these voices of action. Our first change maker is Barbara, who's been leading education initiatives aligned with SDG 4 on quality education. Barbara, can you tell us, first of all, where you're from and more about the change you are leading?
Yes, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Barbara Beltran. I come from Peru, and my passion for biodiversity and the nature came with me when I was very young. I come from the rainforest of Peru, and this passion and this love for biodiversity is always with me along all my journey. I've been researching on climate change and deforestation in Peru, since my country is one of the most vulnerable countries in Latin America. Also, I founded my own NGO. I became from a dreamer to a doer. And also, we are impacting more than 3,000 young people who maybe they don't have the resources, they don't have the tools. And yes, we are doing it also in Spanish. And we give them this opportunity, this portal, and all these financial resources to work on their dreams and make them true in their communities. So I think I can say this, and of course, we can connect later. So thank you very much.
Please a round of applause for Barbara. Over to you, V.
Thank you. And I'm over here with Kittikon from Hello, Kittikon. Thank you so much. Please tell us more about where you're from and what you do. Enlighten the room.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kittikon Hong Yim from Thailand. So from now, I'm so proud and happy to say that I'm doing the best job in the world because I'm working with students toward the environment protection. So throughout the project that I and my student are working, we collaborate with a researcher from Mahidol University to protect one of the most iconic bird in Thailand. We call it the hornbill, which is the seed disposal species in Thailand. So in this project, we follow the researcher and the forest ranger into the Khao Yai National Park, which is located next to our school. So along the way, we collect the data and those kind of thing. And so we found out that the two of the four species are in danger. And the deforestation around the park are reducing the natural nest. So after collecting data along the way by using the scientific tools, and we collect data, and we found out one of the results that the natural nest of this hornbill are very unique. And it's just like the humidity and the temperature is very stable, just like a natural refrigerator in the forest. So we try to mimic that by building an artificial nest box by mimic those conditions in the natural. So this scientific knowledge is not just about the student that brought up together, but it's brought up the community, local community people, the private partners, and even the student parents up together to build this project. So we found out that the reforestation is not just about the planting the tree, but it's about the knowledge, the collaboration, and creating the momentum of change. Thank you.
Thank you, Kittikon. And if you want to learn more, you can find him throughout the forum. And now I'm moving over to Hatim from Morocco. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and just share your story?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Your Excellencies, fellow young delegates. My name is Hatim Lashib. I'm the Moroccan youth delegate, and I'm very happy to be here. I started my climate journey at the age of 12, thanks to a story I want to share with you today. I grew up and I spent most of my time at my grandparents' farm in Morocco, where nature, sustainability, heritage coexisted together. But I remember in 2014, a harsh wave of water scarcity hit Morocco and impacted a lot of young people. including my grandparents. It didn't just destroy their main source of livelihood, but it destroyed their sustainable lifestyle. I had a lot of time to think about it and to start doing a lot of solutions. One of these solutions is my NGO. I founded Harmonico to promote climate and health education in my city. We've been organizing summer camps for the last 6 years to promote climate and environment for more than thousands of youth and conducting hundreds of workshops to plant that seed of sustainability at a younger age. Now, with the help of the National Commission of Morocco and the Mohammed VI Foundation for Environmental Protection, we're creating the UNESCO Moroccan Youth Council to promote UNESCO values and share them among Moroccan youth. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. I'm excited to see what we can all do together in the next couple of days. Thank you, V.
Thank you, Hatim. You can also find him throughout the forum, and thank you for the energy. Back over to you, Antonio.
Thank you so much, B. So we are back on this side of the room with Bibi from Mauritius, winner of the L'Oréal Prize, turning innovation and science into action for sustainability. Bibi, can you tell us a little bit more about your work at the intersection of science and climate action?
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Bibi Noshinjafar from Mauritius, a small island where beauty and vulnerability meet. Growing up by the sea taught me that nature can be both a gift and it can be also vulnerable. I have seen coral reefs fading and the reef shrinking, but also hope through actions, such as Mauritius banning the commercialization and use of synthetic plastics and actually finding alternatives. This has inspired my journey as a scientist. I did my PhD in the production of biodegradable plastic using agricultural waste and biotechnology, using bacteria. Through the L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science program, I got the opportunity to do my doctoral experiments in international settings at the University of Stavanger in Norway, and I got to collaborate with various international researchers for publications. Today, as a postdoctoral researcher at Yonsei University in South Korea, I continue to go on the circular economy pathway, and today I'm here to encourage you. You are the youth of today, and I encourage you to go with purpose and force, lead with purpose. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much to each of our change makers, Barbara, Bibi, Hatim, and Kittikorn, for sharing with us and showing us what youth action looks like on the ground. One more round of applause for them, please. And now I am so thrilled to introduce another changemaker who truly embodies the spirit of turning an idea into impact. She's an entrepreneur and an energy leader all the way from Nigeria. She's turning bold ideas into sustainable impact. Please join me in welcoming our next climate leader, Sandra Chukwudozie.
Scientists tell us that in a quantum world, a single particle can exist in multiple states at once. I believe that's exactly what it means to be young today. To be full of potential, to be full of possibility, to be full of power. We are seeds grown from our mother's bellies. And in this room, we are 140 seeds from 140 nations. And that means 140 different ideas, 140 different visions, 140 different dreams for tomorrow. So we aren't just the future. We are the living hope of all humanity. So let's give a big round of applause to UNESCO for bringing us all here. So, I'm from Nigeria, and 10 years ago, the reality was that over 90 million people lack access to electricity. In a country where over 70% of the population is under the age of 30, a lot of young people weren't happy. they were very angry, and they were very disillusioned. And I frankly was tired of being told that young people are the leaders of tomorrow. I wanted to be a leader of today. Because you see, if a family somewhere, don't have the lights to cook a meal, to share that meal, to even study at night, that makes my life poorer, even though that's not my family. And so I left a promising career at the United Nations to found my company, Sulfur Energy. I put together the best team, people who were driven like me, people who wanted to do something great for humanity. And together, we built local capacity, and we set up an assembly plant in Nigeria, a hub where African talents design, assemble, and ensure quality of solar systems. And our mission was very simple. Energy is freedom. We use solar as a vehicle to bring clean and affordable power to people and places left behind by the national grid. Because in my country, to reach national coverage, it would take 20 years. And you see, the families, the businesses, they didn't have 20 years to wait. They needed power today. And that's the bridge my company is bridging. And that is what caught the eye of impact investors like Orlon, international organizations like the World Bank, the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planets, the Rockefeller Foundation, and so much more, all testifying to the impact Sulfur is making. And today, we've reached over 2 million people, and we're just getting started. But you see, beyond the numbers, it's really about people. People like Ms. Zino, a widow who lost her husband prematurely and used solar as a cost-saving alternative to light up her home and keep her kids studying at night. It's like people like Benjamin, young team members in my company who left everything familiar, traveled 700 kilometers, didn't speak an ounce of the local language, but he spoke the universal language of possibility, power, and audacity. These are the real faces of climate action, and they are why we do what we do. And this year marks 10 years of my climate action. And so I'm calling on each and every one of you today. What is your why? Start the conversation. Share the idea. Follow through on that vision that has been burning inside you. Because let's face it, the future just doesn't happen. It's us who can bend it to our reality. And never ever forget that you will succeed. You will succeed. You will succeed. So just do it. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
That was amazing, Sandra. Thank you. And she told you, we will succeed. Now, this forum is not just about creating recommendations. It's also about projects led by young people who are creating real impact around the world. And this year, as part of the outcomes of the 14th UNESCO Youth Forum, UNESCO is so proud to support a new generation of youth-led initiatives.
So tomorrow, you will have the chance to explore these projects in depth, meet the teams behind them, and discover how they are making change happen. But first, let's look back at some of the inspiring youth projects supported through the 13th UNESCO Youth Forum.
فكرة البرنامج إنه نعمل نبلش بوركشوب لمدة 5 أيام مع شباب من ال6 مجتمعات اللي هون في البتراء، 13 شاب وشابة من خلفيات مختلفة هون، حتى نبني كوريكولم أو منهاج لطلاب من عمر 12 لعمر 17 سنة.
El objetivo de este proyecto es identificar áreas de vulnerabilidad social asociadas con los riesgos de origen hídrico que identificamos en el periurbano, principalmente el riesgo de contaminación del agua subterránea y de inundación en el marco del cambio climático. Y lo que vamos a hacer es permitir que los jóvenes puedan llegar a soluciones que mitiguen el impacto social del cambio climático y que puedan apropiarse de su propio territorio, de sus desafíos ambientales y climáticos que enfrentan y que van a enfrentar.
The main focus of this project is intersecting the climate change and disability, as well as strengthening the movement building by bridging the gap between climate change and disability movement. The major impact that we have been able to bring through this project is now more than 15 young people with disabilities have been empowered and been conducting awareness program at schools and community level. The government agencies and climate-based organizations have recognized the young people with disabilities as strongholders.
Yes. It's always so incredible seeing youth-led projects like this grow and to see what can be the impact of the outcomes that come from this forum. So please do use your time here super, super wisely. Now we're going to move from those who do to those who amplify. We're going to welcome to the stage the next group in our ecosystem of change makers. These are the drivers. The drivers are the mobilizers. They're the people who bring everyone together. They hold decision makers accountable and help policies and partnerships grow from vision to impact. They're often the bridge between communities and systems. They make sure that youth voices are not just heard, but are embedded in the decisions that shape our future.
To explore what it really takes to drive change, we are honored to welcome back to the stage Lidia Brito, Assistant Director General for Social and Human Sciences at Interim, who will sit in conversation with 5 Youth Forum participants. Together, they will share insights from youth-focused projects across UNESCO's mandate and discuss how collaboration, leadership, and accountability can move the world forward. Please join us in welcoming them all to the stage for this conversation.
Thank you. How is everyone doing? How are we holding? How's the energy level? Thumbs up, middle, down? We still have a lot to go on, so I hope everyone is well caffeinated. And welcome to our next segment of today's opening ceremony. It will be more conversational, and we will be exchanging different perspectives across the globe on climate action, of course, but also about the role of UNESCO in our different areas of work. So UNESCO's mandate is to build peace through knowledge, cooperation, and shared values. To face climate impacts, this means harnessing the power of education to build awareness, science to guide solutions, culture to sustain identity and resilience, and of course, humanities and ethics to ensure that action is fair and inclusive. My name is Amal Viden. I am from Tunisia. I'm a climate professional, And I will be your moderator for this segment, where I'm joined by Assistant Director General, Lydia is with us, and also fellow change makers here. So Abhishek Kumar from India, Ghazi Nouman from Sudan, Ella Iradukunda from Burundi, and Anastasia Maliri from Greece. Can we give them a round of applause to get us started? Okay, so each one of us is advancing in one particular area of climate action, but also across different UNESCO's field of work, so education, natural sciences, culture, communication and information, and social and human sciences. And as we all know, and as we've been hearing also from the interventions that we are having in the opening ceremony, young people are already progressing and are already leading across these fields. What is important and what we are highlighting in today's conversation is how we can continue to strengthen the partnership between UNESCO, so we have Lydia with us here, and young people driving climate action. Okay, so with that, I'm starting with you, Abhishek. So Abhishek, I heard you work on climate education, notably around creating inclusive spaces, accessible education for inclusive climate action and disaster risk reduction. And as much as we all here enjoy working on climate action and we see how rewarding it is, the journey can also be overwhelming, we have to admit. So can you tell us how is your work helping to navigate this growing what we call climate anxiety and giving sense to young people on carrying on despite those feelings? Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Amal. Namaste everyone from India. When we are talking about climate anxiety, young people especially are witnessing climate uncertainties, including with respect to physical and mental health, because of growing concerns regarding their present and future uncertainties. So they are not sure about, in the case of any climate extreme events or disasters, whether their participation will be there, whether they are going to be an actors and influencers in the policy and its implementation. And these young people, especially from, let's say, vulnerable and marginalized communities like disability and global south, are further more exposed to climate as well as accessibility anxiety because of the inaccessible climate action and disaster risk reduction strategies that often excludes them, and it doesn't ensure their effective and meaningful participation and engagement. In that context, education being a force multiplier can be the real game changer, because it can help young people understand about climate change. It can help them to mitigate, adapt, and build resilience toward climate and accessibility anxiety. Further, in India's case, we are using inclusive and universally accessible education through frameworks like Universal Design for Learning as well as socio-emotional learning. Through innovative approaches, we are adding like a storytelling, role plays, educational games, and innovative other such solutions so that youth can engage, specifically from marginalized communities like disability and indigenous communities. So they can be not just the subject of climate impacts, but they can also contribute to the climate solutions. Apart from that, we are not just trying to build an inclusive and universally accessible climate solutions or education system, but we are also trying to make it more culturally rooted through culture aspects, integrating indigenous traditional knowledge, Indian knowledge systems, and so on. And to conclude, when we are talking about we are the generations of actions, without climate education, or rather inclusive climate education, we are not equipping young people to be those agents of change. We are still kind of largely, because of our exclusion and inaccessible structures, are morely the victims and the part where we are the subjects of climate anxiety. So to turn anxiety into agency and to achieve intergenerational equity and climate justice, we must ensure that our education systems include climate education, and those climate educations are inclusive, universally accessible, and culturally rooted. To conclude, we build forward better where we all belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you for the solution-oriented intervention. And I hope these concrete examples can also help inspire the audience and the climate action leaders here. But also, I think, Abhishek, you also have a question, because we also have the UNESCO representative, Lydia, here, so we might as well take advantage of that. So
Yes,
over to you.
definitely. So when we are talking about climate change being a threat multiplier, it is affecting everyone, everywhere, across the regions, across the borders, across the sectors. So, and that highlights the need for urgency of cooperation globally. So what role do you think UNESCO can play in building collective solidarity and global resilience? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. And I think when you were discussing what you are doing with your communities, I was thinking, wow, this is UNESCO mandates at its best, because you are connecting education with culture, with scientific knowledge, with information, and really through this mandate that you embody in your work that is so much UNESCO, really what you are doing is really to address climate change in the deepest roots, that is at community level. And that's why I believe that our mandate indeed are quite important, because it's this transdisciplinary, multi-sectorial kind of approach. And that it's what is needed, because it's multidimensional, as we will be discussing through the forum. Let me give you some examples. Clearly, one is our Youth Climate Action Network, UCAN, that really operates at all UNESCO fields of competences that mobilize young people as agents of change for inclusive and sustainable climate action. And you saw some images in the video, and I think this is a wonderful network, because it's really a network that empowers young people to make changes in their communities, but also regionally and globally. The other that I think is important also to share with all of you, UNESCO is leading the International Decade of Sciences for Sustainable Development that starts in 2024. In this decade, we have already endorsed more than 100 initiatives that is really how to mobilize science to tackle the challenges of climate change, of biodiversity loss, and really promoting open science and sharing knowledge. And these initiatives, many of them are led by young people, and definitely all of them have an impact on young communities. The other one that I think is quite important, and maybe a little bit on what you were talking, it's about greening education partnerships, that really it's trying in one hand to act at school level, so schools, curricula, teacher training, but also education system capacities overall, but also bringing communities as part of these drivers for climate action. So going beyond the education system, going beyond our schools, but also involving the communities. We also, as you know, our network of UNESCO sites, and we mentioned here World Heritage Sites, Biosphere Reserves, geoparks, many of them are at the coastal level. And of course, one of the impacts of climate change is really sea rise. So how to work with these UNESCO sites to really, in one end, to protect and create resilience, but also to adapt their heritage, traditions, and creative expressions to this changing world that we are facing. And finally, to say that it's quite important that we support also media as key actors in climate action and also in disaster preparedness. So working with media is very important for UNESCO work on climate. Finally, I want to say that we have this strong conviction that is really, what UNESCO can do is to mobilize our partnerships and our stakeholders and our networks. And I think this is the power of an organization like UNESCO that have these spaces as the Youth Forum, but we also have networks related to many of our programs that are targeting young people as you, and maybe some of you are part of those networks. But also we have the scientists, we have our category 2 centers, we have our chairs that are constantly producing new knowledge that allows us to really understand better what is happening and therefore adapting. But also our communities and the indigenous communities, because they have a lot of knowledge, and we need to mobilize that knowledge to really impact the way we decide to live and to impact what we could do. So really what I see here is really this wonderful bridge between identifying concrete solutions in climate action, but also how can we influence the decisions that we'll be taking, our member states will be taking during this general conference, but also when you are going back and working with your governments, with UNESCO national commissions, with our category 2 centers and chairs in your countries, because I think the power of transformation is also about connecting. So really a pleasure to be here with you all. But based on that, maybe Amal, I go back to you so that I can also ask you a few questions. You, of course, have been working at the intersection of climate action and youth engagement through your work with the UCAN network. From your experience, why must we see climate change not just as an environmental crisis, but also as a deeply social challenge? Amal.
Thank you. No, thank you, Lydia. And I think you already pointed to a lot of answer points actually in your intervention with people being at the center of this. And I think for those of you who were yesterday at the concert, we heard the opening remarks in a way, and it was clear that there is this common message where, yeah, we are really like, there won't be a planet or a conversation about planet if we're not really maintaining or talking about the social aspect of this. So yeah, for me it's quite intertwined and it's quite related. And through my work with the Tunisian Young Climate Negotiators, which is indeed part of the UCAN that we also heard about earlier today, I've had the honor to join my country's delegations to Tunisia as a climate negotiator on, or negotiator on climate finance for a few COPs. And also I had the pleasure of serving in platforms like the Children and Youth Pavilion at COPs, and my work as an adaptation and resilience consultant. And to be honest, sometimes this work can also feel a bit dry and too technical sometimes. I will have to admit this. But then what keeps us grounding is that back to reality, that interaction with people. Also back home in Tunisia, my country is facing like a severe hydric stress. So again, to remind ourselves why we're doing this, I am a scout, so that connection with the nature comes as an often concrete reminder, especially when you see how the environment is going. And it's important to see how the people are witnessing this, and then the social challenges, migration from rural areas, the pressure from infrastructure, and so on and so forth. But also to see how this is still faced by the resilience and the creativity coming from our own community. So people are still carrying on, and people are still going to find solutions, because we cannot afford not to do so. And also beyond looking in my own community, maybe beyond Tunisia, but also in the region, to see in Gaza, for example, people facing, like, the system collapses, food, agriculture, water, it's affecting people's dignity. And here we cannot talk about this without talking about the social aspect of this. And this link might not be obvious for everyone, but it's so clear for me, and this is why this conversation should be together. So when we talk about climate, we talk about inequality. We also know that gender is not, climate action or climate change is not super gender friendly, human security, and it's important that climate justice is at the conversation or at the heart of conversation, and that people continue to be the opinion element here. And of course, it's about trusting young people, because as much as we are the ones facing this and the generation who have to carry this, we also have a driving force, and I'm glad to see a growing momentum of young leaders also carrying their own entrepreneurship initiatives, ideas, art pieces, etc., to drive this. But Also putting back my moderator hat here, and as much as I say and I'm happy about the growing momentum of young people and maybe contradicting myself a little bit, there are also a lot of barriers that we still have to admit, and I'm sure we have a lot to say when it comes to this. And Ghazi, I understand that you're also finding ways to face, in a way, these barriers through the UNESCO Groundwater Youth Network. So how about you tell us a little bit more about this and how this is helping you democratize science and policy?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ahmed. So I'll talk a little bit about groundwater. Groundwater is like, it's hidden.
Ghazi, do you mind bringing the mic a little bit up?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
That sounds good. Actually, groundwater is like some kind of a hidden, but it's a significant source of water for so many peoples and for millions of people in Africa. Yet, in many regions across Africa, including my own country, Sudan, groundwater is often poorly understood, poorly monitored, and often over-exploited. So in the Groundwater Youth Network, collectively with other water youth network in Sudan, we try to, when we endeavor and we try to contribute to addressing this issue by connecting the young water professionals with the scientists and researchers and also with the community practitioners in order to develop data and build capacity and strengthening the groundwater governance, basically. So science allows us to connect the dots between the climate variability and the water security and also the livelihood of the people. For example, if we will be in a better position to understand the aquifer recharge, this will help us to develop more climate resilient and more smart adaptation investments, particularly for rural areas and conflict affected areas, particularly because those areas are the groundwater are usually or are often the main reliable water source for those areas. So ultimately, by empowering the young people and the communities, we will be able to transform the science into reality and resilience.
No, thank you, Ghazi. And I see, like, yeah, I think we've gone a far way on working on democratizing science and policy, but it is also clear that access to reliable climate information, I mean, data in general, but in our context here, to climate information and then the risks of disinformation might also be another challenge that we can talk about, and which is rapidly evolving with the new platforms, social networks, and of course we have to mention AI. It has to make an appearance in our conference. So looking at Ella, how can we ensure that young people and society, more young people being a strong element of society, can navigate this complex and fast-changing information landscape effectively, as if it was not hard enough?
Merci beaucoup pour la question. Alors j'aime beaucoup cette question parce que c'est vrai, aujourd'hui avec les nouvelles technologies, nous les jeunes, on est tous détenteurs de l'information. Non seulement on peut produire de l'information, on peut partager, mais aussi l'interpréter. Et des fois, c'est ça le problème en fait. Parce que par exemple au Burundi, c'est plus la désinformation, c'est plus par ignorance que par la volonté de nuire. Les jeunes, ils vont partager des messages sur le changement climatique, mais ils vont se rendre compte qu'ils sont en train de propager de la mauvaise information par ignorance. Alors, comment naviguer dans cet environnement-là? Je pense que Julia l'avait dit dans son intervention, c'est aussi rendre l'information fiable, vraiment accessible. Alors, on ne va pas quand même équiper toutes les jeunes, on ne va pas pouvoir former tous les jeunes sur ça, mais nous, ce qu'on a fait au Burundi, on a fait un effet multiplicateur. On a travaillé avec les médias, mais aussi avec les influenceurs. Parce qu'il faut l'admettre, aujourd'hui, les influenceurs, c'est vraiment important. Alors nous, ce qu'on a fait, c'est qu'on les a renforcés, surtout sur le data journalisme. Ça veut dire produire de l'information basée sur des évidences, sur vraiment, ils vont produire de l'information, mais aussi contribuer à déconstruire les fausses informations qui sont en train de circuler. Alors l'idée, c'est on a formé un groupe de jeunes journalistes qui sont basés dans des communautés pour qu'eux, ils soient le relais. Alors en parlant déjà de l'accessibilité de l'information, l'UNESCO a développé un cours, Ça s'appelle Naviguer dans l'information climatique grâce à l'éducation aux médias et à l'information. Alors pour moi, c'est ça aussi cette réponse-là. C'est ces plateformes, et d'ailleurs cette plateforme, elle est gratuite, vous pouvez la trouver sur les plateformes de l'UNESCO. C'est aussi rendre accessible cette information-là, parce que pour moi, on a beau avoir, par exemple, l'intelligence artificielle, si on ne sait pas s'en servir, ça ne nous servira à rien. Pour moi, franchement, l'ignorance tue plus qu'autre chose. Merci.
Merci Ala, et bien évidemment, notre génération a accès à beaucoup de plateformes et il s'agit à la fois d'un challenge mais aussi une opportunité si on la saisit bien. Je pense que toi aussi de ton côté, tu as une question à Lydia, allez-y.
Bien évidemment. Alors ma question, c'est vraiment par rapport au financement des jeunes. Alors souvent, les fonds climatiques privilégient les grandes organisations au détriment des initiatives de jeunes qui sont des fois caricaturées comme trop risquées. Alors, pour l'UNESCO, comment est-ce que vous parvenez à concilier ce côté de la rigueur qu'impose la redevabilité et en même temps encourager les jeunes, les projets des jeunes, risqués, mais créatifs et audacieux?
We're not putting you on the spot or anything, but finance had to make an appearance as well.
Thank you. No, I think it's a great question, and it's true. It's that. Climate finance normally wants more established organizations and over maybe youth-led initiatives that are just starting to grow. From UNESCO perspective, I think the first thing that we do, and you mentioned, for example, media literacy, we try to build trust through capacity and mentorship. I think this is very important to make sure that young people, of course, brings quite a lot of innovation and local insights. And what we needed to invest in their capacity to mentor them so that these initiatives, these youth-led initiatives can really meet the standards, as you mentioned, Ella, but at the same time retaining the flexibility and the creativity, not trying to make them the same as the others, but really making sure that the young leaders and the young participants leading those initiatives have the capacity to advance. And again, I think many of you are part of our Global Youth Grant Scheme, which provides mentorship, capacity building, and funding to help young project leaders to bring their innovative ideas to life. Also, Youth as Researchers is another project that keeps young people carrying out research and showcase the impact of their work with decision makers. So this is the first thing, mentorship and capacity. The other one is how to embed youth solutions in existing UNESCO work. So we do that in the full cycle of our established programs. Gazi was just mentioned about the network on groundwater, the youth network. They are part of producing the knowledge, implementing the projects, but also advocacy and influencing decision making. So this is very important to really make sure that our programs involve young people from the conception to the implementation. Finally, I believe that the creating spaces where the voices of young people can be heard, giving visibility to what young people are already doing in their communities, in their countries, at regional level, and also how they have succeeded to really conquer barriers that you were mentioned by working together, by being together, by having solidarity among yourselves. And really, I think it's the most important thing. It's the capacity that young people have to really come together in major conferences, the COPs for climate, the COPs for biodiversity, but really with one voice and with one dream and with many doers as we have seen so far. So I think it's quite important that for UNESCO to continue to create these spaces such as this forum, but also Mondial Cult, or the Water Forum, or the 5th Congress of the Men in Biosphere, where we had really a huge participation of young people, but really with concrete actions, and I would say with a lot of dreams that made us very much inspired. Thank you.
No, thank you, Lydia, and yeah, glad to see a lot of interconnection between what both entities want to achieve, and we will continue to work to talk more about the work that UNESCO is doing on climate action. And again, by formalizing the engagement or the partnership, I would say, between young people and UNESCO, by providing the platform also for staff to work directly with young people, I think we'll help drive this meaningful participation as equal parties. And this will also allow young people not only to lead project, but also to bring their creativity, sometimes rebellious spirit, because we still need that, but also reality check and perspectives, but again, cultural diversity, etc. And going to our last intervention of this segment, Anastasia, we want to know from you and how you think how culture and creativity empower young people to reimagine their relationship with environment. I know this might not be a very obvious link, so curious to know more about you through your work. Over to you.
Thank you, Amal. For me, culture, well, is not only what we inherit, it's how we live, how we create, and how we care. But today, the climate crisis is changing not only the environment, but also our cultural identity, the intangible cultural heritage, the stories, the traditions that shape who we are. So we can see this also in my country, Greece, where communities are reimagining and reimagining heritage through cooperation and creativity. That's also what I'm trying to do, connecting culture as well as climate awareness through youth-led actions in my university. So culture empowers not through instruction, but through imagination, helping us see ourselves as part of an ecosystem, not apart from it. So in the end, I think meta-creativity reminds us that caring for our cosmos, our environment, goes hand in hand with caring also with the culture, where our imagination becomes a responsibility and inspires to co-design and co-create climate-smart solutions for our futures. And I think this is a great point to ask a question to Lydia. I would like to know what kind of impact do you believe our generation can realistically achieve in the next 5 years, and how can UNESCO help us scale up what already works? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anastasia, and I think it's really a perfect way to wrap up our dialogue. First of all, let me say that you are already having impact, and I think a round of applause to all of you and to all the young people that are not here, but they are doing the difference every day to their communities, and I think this is the first thing that you have to embody in yourselves. You are already doing that difference, and of course you can do, of course, more. I also believe that what is quite important, and we know that we need to make sure that we can scale up many of the wonderful initiatives that young people have been leading in their communities, and also create these communities of practice that connect young leaders so that they can share knowledge, connections, support, funding opportunities, visibility. And what is quite incredible is that what we have seen is that young people are really acting in all the different dimensions that are important to address the climate change impact. From restoration of ecosystems, water management, and understanding what it means to clean energies, as we heard today, to how to address water quality for communities, but also related to heritage, related to empowering people through knowledge, and addressing also the social aspects, including the emotional situation of many vulnerable communities, in particular young people. And I believe that we can help amplifying and connecting these efforts, providing platforms, partnerships, capacity building, and tools and resources that young-led initiatives can gain visibility and can influence their environment from a policy point of view. In effect, my hope is really that in the next 5 years, it's about moving from youth mobilization to youth leadership. And UNESCO, of course, it's more than ever connected to see. I'm sure that 5 years from now, the ADG social science will be much younger than I am. And let's hope that that's the trend that we will see. So really, really a great pleasure to be with you today, and looking forward to continue this dialogue, because I think it's through this that we can find ways and solutions to do even better. So thank you again, all of you young leaders.
Thank you. Thank you, Lydia Brito, Assistant Director General for Social and Human Sciences, and thank you to my fellow friends here. I think we dive into different thematics between talking about information, culture, data, concrete solutions, climate anxiety, and I'm sure there is a lot more to cover, so you'll find us here around the forum, and we'll make sure, and please connect. So looking forward to the rest of the opening ceremony. With that, I'll hand it over to our amazing MCs. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Lydia Brito, Assistant Director General for Social and Human Sciences at Interim, and all our youth participants for that insightful conversation. As we reflect on the diverse ways young people are taking action, I'm honored to share a special message from someone who champions youth voice and leadership on the global stage. Please welcome via video message Felipe Polier, United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, with a message on why youth voice matters.
Hello everyone, my name is Felipe Polier and I'm the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, leading the United Nations Youth Office. Young people's meaningful engagement in policy making and decision making is pivotal to tackle current global crisis, and it's pivotal to leverage opportunities to build the world we envision in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, a world that is more sustainable, just and peaceful for people and for the planet. For 26 years, the UNESCO Youth Forum has been an important space for dialogue and collaboration between generations, championing this exact mentality. This year's forum is focusing on climate action and its social impacts, and it's one of the main areas of concern for young people around the world. The climate crisis is not only an environmental emergency, it's a social, economic, and intergenerational crisis. It affects education, livelihoods, health, peace, and much more. Young people are on the front lines of the call for climate justice. They are raising awareness, leading innovative solutions, mobilizing their communities, and especially holding decision makers accountable. But young people should not face this challenge alone. The duty to act belongs to all of us. It belongs to governments, to international organizations, to civil society, to the private sector, and of course to the UN. We must go beyond words, and we must take real steps that protect our shared future. The United Nations Youth Office was created to make sure that young people are seen and supported as true partners in global change. Young people's ideas, energy, and creativity are essential to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and to deliver on the promises of the Pact for the Future. So, as the UN marks its 80th anniversary, this is more important than ever. The renewal of multilateralism will happen with and for young people, or it will not happen at all. Spaces like this based on intergenerational solidarity and action, give us hope. Give me hope. So you can count on the UN Youth Office as an ally in taking this vision forward. Because together we can create a better present and a better future that leaves no young person behind. Thank you.
Thank you to the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs. His message connects perfectly with our next story. We are about to hear from someone who's been connecting online awareness raising with real-world action. Amr Ramadan, a climate activist, an educational entrepreneur, a public speaker, and a YouTuber from Egypt. He joined us today to explore his work connecting social justice with climate action. Please welcome to the stage, Amr.
Hello everyone. So my name is Ramadan, and I come from a city that might disappear soon by the end of this century. So I was born and raised in one of the most vulnerable cities to climate change. I lived my whole entire life in a city that might be underwater by the end of this century. And this, not my opinion. This is according to a report published by the World Economic Forum in 2019, mentioning that my city, among other 11 cities, might be underwater by the end of this century. So now you might wonder where I'm from. I'm proudly from the lovely, charming coastal city, Alexandria, Egypt. In Alexandria, I was born and raised into a working-class, low-income family in a very crowded neighborhood. My dad left school when he was 9 years old to work with my grandfather, and my mom just finished high school while she was working as well. And typically, like my parents, I experienced child labor. But unlike them and unlike my grandparents, I broke this vicious cycle, and I was able to become the first in my family to go to college. So I'm a kind of person whose inherent background made him experience both social injustice and climate injustice in a first-hand experience since childhood. So now moving from a childhood to my high school. In high school, I started to become aware of the climate crisis. I started to know about global warming and the causes of greenhouse gases and so on. And that's motivated me to study both biology and chemistry. And I got the full mark in it. And later, I studied pharmacy for 5 years in my undergrad. And that helped me to understand the chemistry of carbon, the science of molecules, and the structure of life itself. But then later, after spending 5 years studying chemistry and biology, I realized something very painful, something extremely painful, that the climate crisis is not a scientific mystery, but it's a political and economic injustice issue. The science is crystal clear about it. We know what causes global warming. We know how to stop it. But what we lack is not science and knowledge. What we lack is, do you know what we lack? What we lack is courage. Courage to change the system that profit out from pollution. Courage that making pollution is free. Courage to confront and to challenge the most powerful. Courage to put people before profit. And that realization, it changed my life. And because of that, I established a youth-led organization in Egypt with the name of Empower Hub. At Empower Hub, we help young leaders to establish social enterprises, social initiatives, lead advocacy campaigns, write policy papers, reach decision maker, and create social media videos. And I was lucky to help, through our organization, to help a lot of marginalized people, and we helped thousands of young people. But I wanted to reach hundreds of thousands, millions of people. How can I do that? So I started a YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel now has more than 250 long videos watched by more than 4 million people. And we have a community of subscribers, almost 200,000 subscribers. To be honest, 199,000. And all of them are advocating for justice and empowerment. And I'm doing this because I strongly believe that the change begins when stories are told by people who live them. So a big portion of my content is not about my story right now. It's about the stories of other people sharing common struggle and common hope. So to conclude, I am someone who is merging two worlds: the world of activism on the ground and the world of storytelling online. Because, you know, hashtag don't plant trees. And policies don't go viral. So, but if we put them together, if we put both of them together, we can change systems and change hearts. And basically what I am doing through my work at Empower Hub, through every video that I make in social media, through every talk that I give like this, is to give a platform, for the most marginalized, to give a platform for people who are left behind, to give a platform for people who are historically marginalized, people like my dad, people like my mom, people like my sister, because no one is safe until everyone is safe. And no community is resilient when another is drowning. Thank you.
Wow. That was extremely powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Amra. And this leads us to our final group of change makers, the defenders. Now, the defenders are the protectors of people and planet. They remind us that action means care and that healing and inclusion are part of true progress. As a generation of navigating climate anxiety and stress, while staying committed to change, the role of the defenders has never been more vital. As we reflect on what it means to protect and uplift others, we're so honored to welcome our next speaker. She works at the intersect of climate, culture, and community, amplifying women and indigenous leadership in sustainability. From Bolivia, she's a passionate advocate for ancestral knowledge, food sovereignty, and the power of tradition in shaping a sustainable future. Please join me in welcoming Analia Gonzalez as she shares her talk on why women and indigenous voices matter. This is a true pleasure. Take it away, Analia.
Muchas gracias. Muy buenos días a todos los presentes. Y en esta oportunidad no solo voy a compartir un poquito de mi historia como montañista deportista, sino como un movimiento de mujeres indígenas aymaras que hemos decidido romper barreras, hemos decidido romper con el silencio y también romper con esos estereotipos, donde la mujer aymara o cualquier mujer de pronto no podía hacer este deporte de alta montaña. Nuestro grupo se llama Cholitas Escaladoras Kunu. Escalamos montañas llevando mensajes a la cima de empoderamiento y también cuidado de las montañas. Kunu está en aymara y significa nieve. Bueno, yo soy de la comunidad de Cañabiri, una comunidad que se encuentra en los Andes de Bolivia, a las faldas de la montaña. Mi comunidad es una comunidad rodeada de montañas rocosas, montañas con nieve y con glaciares que consideramos eran hielos eternos. Y bueno, un 16 de diciembre del 2015, ya hace 10 años, un grupo de mujeres indígenas aymaras decidimos cumplir un sueño que anhelábamos durante mucho tiempo. Soñábamos con algún momento llegar a la cima de nuestros sueños. Muchas de nosotras nos encontrábamos como cocineras de alta montaña, otras como porteadoras cargando mochilas, otras simplemente como hijas, como es mi caso. Y es así que nos preguntábamos por qué las mujeres no podíamos practicar este deporte, ¿Por qué era solamente un deporte considerado para varones? ¿O solamente era una excusa para que nosotras estemos ahí todavía pasivas, acalladas en este deporte? Y es así que nosotras en grupo logramos llegar a ser una cima arriba de los 6.000 metros. El Huayna Potosí es una montaña muy popular en nuestra comunidad. Logramos llegar a cimas arriba de los 6.000 en Bolivia. Después logramos también llegar a una cima arriba de los 7.000 metros que está en Argentina, Mendoza, que es el Aconcagua. Y ahora que hice mi viaje desde Bolivia, fui a ver un poco el mapa en el avión y también vi los Himalayas. Mi gran sueño para el siguiente año es escalar un 8.000. Y bueno, a mí las montañas me han cambiado la vida, de ser una mujer aymara indígena, callada, pasiva, a ser una mujer muy activa, muy dinámica, creo que siempre lo hemos sido, pero ahora más que todo soy una mujer soñadora. Me siento libre en las montañas, siento que allá hay más vida, me siento acogida porque las montañas para mí son mis abuelos, es mi familia y no puedo dejar de ir a la montaña. Y bueno, con el pasar del tiempo, también he sentido que llegar a una cima no solamente es algo personal. El momento que logramos hacer cima también es como si estuviéramos rompiendo una barrera más. Y el subir en ascenso, como es llegar a la cima cargada de nuestras aguayos, que son para nosotras nuestras mochilas, cargando el peso, todo aquello, no solamente es un paso más, sino es un paso de lucha para cada uno de nosotros. Pero ahora viene un poquito la parte triste, ¿no? Porque ahora nuestras ochachilas, nuestras montañas han cambiado y siguen cambiando. Porque antes estos achachilas en aymara quiere decir abuelos, eran montañas más nevadas, eran montañas más blancas. Pero hoy en día hemos sentido su retroceso. Ahora es más rápido el deshielo, antes no lo era así. Paredes donde antes escalábamos y hacíamos prácticas de escalada en hielo, ahora han desaparecido. Y eso nos pone muy tristes. Nos pone muy tristes y pensamos qué va a ser de nuestro futuro. Y por eso hoy traemos la voz de esa montaña, traigo esa voz de las montañas que nos piden protección. Porque proteger las montañas es proteger la vida. Y desde lo que nosotras hacemos como cholitas escaladoras, desde que escalamos, desde que estamos en las carpas, muchas cocinando, desde nuestras comunidades, desde nuestras cuerdas, desde nuestros equipos, queremos un futuro para nuestros hijos, para nuestras hijas, para los niños, para las niñas, un futuro donde ellos sueñen con alcanzar el cielo, sueñen con que no hay límites y puedan apreciar esa belleza natural desde lo alto de la montaña. Hayaya, hermanos, hermanas, que quiere decir viva en aymara, sigamos escalando, sigamos soñando, sigamos haciendo muchas acciones para proteger al planeta Tierra con sus hermosas montañas, hielos que antes eran eternos, hoy son muy frágiles. Dios pagara, gracias.
Thank you, Analia, for that beautiful reminder of how culture, tradition, and ancestral knowledge are essential to protecting our planet and our future. And yes, nature is part of our family. We would like to hear from one last Youth Forum participant, someone whose words capture the spirit of our generation. He joined us from Ghana, and through his art, he articulates the hopes, struggles, and courage of young people taking climate action around the world. Please welcome to the stage Alvin Adigao. Once upon a planet that spanned too fast, we lost our rhythm, our roots, our rest. The rains forgot its seasons, the rivers forgot their beds, and we, you, me, all of us, forgot what it means to belong to the same sky. There are places where childhood ends with floods, where dreams are built on sandbags and survival. Places where the only thing rising faster than sea levels is the cost of hope. Because we measured progress in profits, not in people. We let our city so bright we could no longer see the stars or each other. And somewhere between the meeting crisis and the climate summits, we forget to ask the simplest question. And dare I ask, will we forget it this time around? What happens to the heart when the earth stops breathing right? It's not about melting ice, it's about mothers melting down because the harvest failed again. It's about boys dropping out of school to dig for gold, girls trading classrooms for kitchens because the water ran out. For those who are still looking for proof, this is not science fiction. Science and friction, and we are the generation born into both the storm and the solution. But you see, it's not just doom and gloom. I mean, we scroll through chaos, double tap despair, but maybe Hope's algorithm just needed a refresh. Does Hope algorithm need a refresh? I want to hear your response. Does it need a refresh? Youth of the 14th UNESCO Youth Forum, does Hope need a refresh? If it does, let me hear it loud. Does Hope need a refresh? Yes, I agree. Hope needs a refresh. They call us the Wi-Fi generation. Well, because yes, wireless fidelity. We stay connected even when the world disconnects. We dream in pixels, we act as people, laugh through the leaks, meme the madness, and still show up with buckets when the floods hit home. From Accra to Samarkand, small cities to big islands, we are rewriting the forecast. We are the wind after the wildfire, we are still the calm after the climate. Because quite frankly, our world is warming up, but so are our hearts. We're heating up with vision, innovation, and with that stubborn conviction that when young people speak with courage, the future listens. So 3 claps to the doers, to the defenders, to the drivers, and to the dreamers. Because we are proof that our future is still negotiable, and that hope is not an endemic endangered species under the IUCN Red List. We are proof that we are shaping our future. We are changing the narrative. And when the history books ask who wrote the ending, scratch that. Who wrote the new beginning? Let that answer be simple, be clear, be loud and bold. That we did that. Can I hear that? We did that? We did that. Because Earth isn't angry. All she wants is a text back with action. Are we just going to subscribe or just put out the hashtags? We're going to text her back with action. My name is Adigal Alvin Wenia. It has been my pleasure to share with you the voice of our generation.
That was just incredible. He said we need to text Earth back. Don't leave Earth on unread. Now, can we please have another round of applause for the incredible Alvin? Now, as we sadly come to the close end of our opening ceremony, his words are a fantastic testament to what our generation can achieve. We've journeyed with the dreamers, the doers, the drivers, and the defenders. each showing us a different path to action. What we have heard today reminds us that this forum is about so much more than just talking. It's about what we do next. We know the next few days are going to be full of ideas, discussions, and creativity, but also new opportunities that push us to think differently. And as we go forward, I want to ask to my co-host, Antonio, what message is it that you are not only taking away, but that you want to leave with our fellow youth leaders?
Thank you so much. It's quite emotional to be here back. I was a delegate 2 years ago. So now seeing all this room with new delegates is very inspirational. Today we have heard from change makers who are transforming their communities, each with a different story, but the same purpose, to make our world better. And beyond our different backgrounds or different stories, languages, one truth stands clear: none of this happens alone. Real change needs all of us. In a time when the world faces the realities of climate change, when fear and division often overshadows hope, this forum reminds us that our shared dreams, goals, and actions matter more than our differences. That, to me, is what UNESCO is about and what this forum truly represents: a space where diversity becomes a strength and collaboration becomes legacy. But now, guys, it's your turn, the delegates of the 14th UNESCO Youth Forum, to define what this forum will be about, to shape the message that you will send to UNESCO, that you will send to the member states, and that you will send out there to the world. Because the story of this forum is yet to be written, and it begins with the courage, the ideas, and the unity of everyone that is here today. What about you, V?
I love that, and it's pretty hard to follow, but I have 3 small things that I want you all to take away from today. Number 1, just because it hasn't been done yet doesn't mean it can't be. So as you look to your current leaders who are doing amazing jobs, if they haven't yet done something, maybe you could be the one that helps to begin that. The second thing I'd say is it's okay to start small and to start now. Don't worry about needing to have the largest platforms with the highest amount of followers and all of these different things or fancy titles. You can do it at any time, anywhere. And the last thing is, please don't ever feel alone. If you're at home and you're wondering, no one cares about this like I do, I have no one to work on this with, just look around this room. These are your fellow peers, your potential future collaborators, and the people who could help you move the needle. So I'll leave you with this word from an African proverb. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So please do keep that in mind. It feels like we're at church, right? I was like, yeah, I'm taking us there. But now I would like to make sure that we leave this on a really beautiful finale. We'd like to honor the culture and heritage of the city that has embraced us with such warmth and generosity. I mean, even look at what I'm wearing today. I got this in the local market. So thank you to Uzbekistan for hosting us so well.
Please join us in welcoming the Uzbek Youth Choir, sharing the sounds, colors, and traditions of Uzbekistan.
Yeter borar butun jahonga bizning ovozimiz.
Barkamollik yo'lida kelajakka qadam bosamiz, insoniylikni yashamiz. Qani yangi tong sari barchamiz birlashaylik, biz dunyo farzandlari axir bo'laylik. Yangi olgan marralar bizlarga hamroh bo'lsin, va keyingi avlodlar baxtli yashasin. We're here for the future. We're here for the dream.
Together we are much stronger than we have ever been.
On the way of unity, we are staying for equality, sharing with all humanity. Stand together hand in hand to the light of rising sun. We are you from every land, for bright days to come. New horizons we will find, guided by the morning light, and the future generations live in peace and shining bright. On the way of unity, we are staying for equality, sharing with all humanity. Stand together hand in hand to the light of rising sun. We are you from every land, for brighter days to come. Qani yangi tong sari barchamiz birlashaylik, biz dunyo farzandlari axir bo'laylik. Yangi olgan marralar bizlarga hamroh bo'lsin, va keyingi avlodlar baxtli yashasin.
What a wonderful celebration of Uzbekistan. What a journey this has been. A celebration of youth, power, creativity, and action. With that, we would like to wish everyone a fantastic 14th UNESCO Youth Forum. Thank you to everyone, our speakers, contributors, and most of all, you, the young change makers who make this movement real. Before we finish, we would like to invite all our Youth Forum participants to join us for the photograph here on the stage. And we will also would like to invite the ADG interim as well as the Uzbek authorities to join us here on stage.
Yes, come on up and let's
Come on,
take a
everyone.
lovely photo to mark this occasion. All of our Youth Forum participants,
all forum
if you can come on the
participants.
stage, yes, you can bring
Yes,
your
all
phone.
forum
That is
participants
fine.
are required here
All
on
Youth
stage.
Forum participants, please come on up on stage.
Come join us.
And let's take a beautiful photo to mark the occasion. Youth Forum participants, come on up, jump on up, step on over it. Do whatever you need to do. Youth Forum participants. Yes, get on the stage. Let's all get friendly and cozy. More into the middle as well.
Yes. Come here.
Get to know
the
your neighbor.
ADG.
Say hi, neighbor. Okay, you can feel from the back as well. Onto the stage, there's space at the back. Everyone, if you can move backwards slightly, take a step backwards for me. There's space, keep on going. Youth forum participants only. Onto the stage. Yeah, of course. Just be careful of
Just
all
be
the
careful,
lights.
everyone. The youth forum participants.
Youth forum participants,
please.
and fill it from the back, the space at the back, behind. If everyone can huddle, there's still space at the back.
Yes, please. Make some space for everyone.
And don't worry, the camera will see you.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody, there's still space at the back. Let's squeeze in.
Yes, find your spot, guys.
The cameras will see you. I think they'll get on the chairs.
Okay, let's find our space V.
Is everybody in? There's still space at the back.
Yes.
Everybody,
Everybody,
onto
the UNESCO team as well.
And I think our photographers feel
Yes,
free to
ready?
stand on the chairs.
Okay. I think they're ready.
It's okay?
Let's find a spot, V.
Oh, is there any space for us, Antonio? We didn't think about that. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. We need everyone to really smile. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We're representing young people all around the world. So I need to see all 32 teeth. And I need us to look into the middle over here.
There.
And they will wave at us. So shall we
Okay,
get low?
it will be 1, 2, 3, and then we will scream Generation of Action. Are you all ready? Yes? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Generation of Action! Woo!
And wait there, we're going to do it one more time. I'm making a little vlog for Instagram. So once again, okay?
Once again, everyone.
1, 2, 3.
Generation of Action! Woo!
We
Okay.
did it, guys. Amazing.
We would like the picture with only the Youth Forum participants, please. So all Youth Forum participants, please stay here on stage. And we would like to thank all the Uzbek youth for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So please, Youth Forum participants, stay here. We will take a picture with only Youth Forum participants. And it will be the same dynamic. 1, 2, 3, Generation of Action.
Okay, Youth Forum
Okay,
participants.
Youth Forum participants. Okay, as well as the ADG and our host, the Uzbek authorities. So we will take a picture. Oh, wait, guys. So it was going to be with the ADG and Uzbek authorities. So let's make some space for them as well.
If you are staying here for 3 days and you are a Youth Forum, stay on stage. If you're an Uzbek young person, thank you so much. We're going to take a photo now.